Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alyssa Scarciotti. I'm the clinical education manager here with Lexier Dental Laboratory Group. We have Kent Wells, Yolanda Thomas, and Karen Gauthier here presenting with us. We're going to be going over the Dentsply scanner and their DS Core platform. Kent is an expert in all of the above. And then we have Karen and Yolanda here from the team that are going to be able to answer anything that's lab related around that. Kent, if you can just share your screen, I just want to go over a couple little housekeeping items that we have. Perfect. Okay, so our title is Enhancing Clinical Efficiency Through Connected Digital Workflows. A little bit about our lab. You're probably familiar with Lexier and our locations, but this is our footprint as far as where our labs are. This is our domestic operations, and we have our offshore design services over in India. So we have a lot of different labs, different specialties within each lab. We're talking digital today, which the nice thing is it doesn't really matter where you're sending a case from or where we're located. We have different options for you as far as what we can service, and everything's just a little click away. And then just a couple little housekeeping items. We definitely want your interaction today. So if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A section of Zoom. Where Kent, Yolanda, and Karen will all be able to, address any questions again, whether it's lab side or it's technical, here to provide support. And then we are providing one CE credit for all the attendees. So it is required per AGD PACE that you are present for the entire webinar to receive your CE credits. And then we do send those out via email within 2 weeks after the course. That keep an eye out for an email from education@lexier.com. Next slide, Kent, if you could. Thanks. And then I do want to introduce Kent Wells. Kent is the National Accounts Manager for Labs in the implant division at Dentsply. I've had the pleasure of working very closely with him. He's a great resource on all things digital. So he'll be going through all of the presentation with you guys today. And then on the Lexier side, we are fortunate enough to have, as I mentioned, two representatives. So we have Yolanda Thomas. She's a manager of digital adoption here at the lab. So she provides chairside support as far as scanner trainings. She's done quite a few webinars for us as well. Yolanda, if you want to say a quick hello.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for attending, and I look forward to meeting you all in person one day.
Awesome, thanks. And then we were fortunate enough to have Karen Gauthier join us as well. Karen provides digital support as well, but also chairside support with Full Arch. She's based out of our Rhode Island lab and is a great resource as well.
Thanks, guys, for joining.
And then I think without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Kent.
All right, let's see if computer can keep up. There we go. All right, so thank you so much for having me today. I just need to disclose that I am an employee of Dentsply Sirona. I'm the National Account Manager for Labs in the Implant Division. So let's jump into the content today. So let's start with where we're at in the dental world. So everyone's familiar with digital dentistry. And what's been happening with digital dentistry has been a rapid adoption of multiple different technologies coming together into one clinical setting. And it can sometimes get a little messy. So how does the interconnectivity work between different technologies? And what we're finding is even though we have this adoption of digital technology, we still have a relatively low patient acceptance rate. So only 54% of patients don't accept their dental treatment. So there's a lot of opportunity. And how do we improve that through the technology and through connected dentistry? And then, how does adding digital technology really enhance the efficiency on the clinician side? So that on the priority side, if you're trying to grow your practice through adding technology, we have to make sure that it's connected through this new connected dentistry. And that's the era that we're moving into, making you more efficient in your offices with your patients, so that way you have more time. So DS Core is our software system that connects all these different digital technologies. So giving you the ability to grow your dental practice through enhanced patient communication. We have patient canvas. You can be flexible with the solutions that you have, and then also being able to adopt all your technologies and bring them together connected through DS Core, making you much more efficient, saving you time, ultimately saving you money, and being more efficient with your patients. And the outcomes, you're going to get much more efficient outcomes and predictable outcomes clinically. And as you can see on the screen here, we have multiple technologies that are being brought in together. And it's also an open platform system, open to third-party equipment as well. So this gives you the ability to diagnose, to plan, and to also do manufacturing. So you can do CEREC manufacturing, or you can do ordering through your preferred lab services. So diagnosing, we have a Canvas feature. So it's an enhanced communication for your patients. Diagnostic tool abilities with CBCT length measurements being brought into DS Core, as well as Smart View. So you can do illustrations within DS Core directly through the cloud software. So you're not tied to just a specific planning software with CBCT anymore. Being able to plan your cases from clear aligner cases to your CEREC cases. And then also when it comes down to making your cases, either doing that in-office chairside or ordering from your favorite lab like Lexier. So this whole digital patient experience has been reimagined with DS Core. So everything being brought together. So if you think about where you're currently at in your practice, you have multiple logins, you have multiple softwares, multiple versions of softwares, and how do we bring that together to bring that to the better patient experience? And this is where DS Core is centralizing all the technology, all the data together into one space to that way it's easier for the patients to understand the treatment as well as it's easier to present that treatment. And upload media from third-party equipment and mobile devices. So we have a HIPAA compliant way of bringing everything together and being able to not only share with your patients, but also connect it with your specialists as well. So you can collaborate efficiently. So this is what it looks like with all of your media in one place. So we have an online media library, which allows sharing as well. So you're bringing all of your x-rays, your intraoral scans, any case files that you have for a patient are going to be uploaded into DS Core. So now you can quickly access them and be able to share them efficiently. The other feature we have is we have a QR code. So we understand that if you're going to be taking a picture of a patient or taking any sort of uploads of patients, you can scan a QR code directly within DS Core and upload directly to DS Core without saving that to your device, which is a HIPAA compliant way of getting data into the cloud and attach this patient file. And it works with all third-party equipment. So this is going to reduce the needs for local servers, hard drives, and having one primary storage place for you in the cloud. And when it comes to consultations, you can enhance your consultations easily with Canvas. So we have Patient Canvas built into DS Core where you can bring in your CBCTs, you can bring in your scans, you can bring in your x-rays, your panos, and you can annotate on them. You can add education pictures on them. And this is what's great here is you can actually keep your patients engaged and share directly out of this canvas. So you can share just with the patient's email so that way they can see exactly the treatment that is planned and review that treatment with their family and loved ones before they commit to the treatment. It also makes it very easy for your office manager to follow up on treatment. So maybe there's some treatment you're going to follow up on, or you haven't heard from a patient accept treatment. It's really easy to reshare everything all from one screen in Patient Canvas and have that follow up. So we do have diagnostic tools built into Canvas as well. So and this is where you can bring different measurement tools in. You can also saves you a lot of time without having to go specifically to a workstation. So you no longer have to be in the room or with the computer that has the CBCT or that has the specific software license on it. It can be uploaded into DS Core and you have the ability to do measurements and do the views as needed within DS Core wherever you're at, because DS Core is a software that's a cloud-based software. So wherever you have internet access, you can go in and you can access your files wherever you need to. We do have some new AI features that were just updated into DS Core with Smart View. So now we have some AI features, so you can do some specific anatomy, bone, nerve canals, all visible. There's different settings that you can adjust to make it very easy to present to your patients as needed. So the transparent one there shows the nerve canal there. And that way, you're helping your patients understand the treatment that they're going to be receiving. And then when it comes to your referrals, now that we have everything into one software system, we have an online media and sharing capabilities. For your referrals, you can type in their email address, choose the files you want to send them, and exactly what you'd like them to do with those files. And then you get to set the expiration for those. So you could set it anywhere from a week all the way up to 6 months and share that file. And really, where this takes place in the real life is there's no more, software versions or readers or thumb drives being passed around. So you have a HIPAA compliant way of sharing data with all of your referral networks. That's very fast, it's easy, and then there's also chat functions built in to where you can chat back and forth as needed through your media library. And organizing our treatments within DS Core. So now you can organize everything within DS Core, patient specific for a treatment. You're able to quickly choose it off of a short window. So, for example, an implant treatment, and you get to choose if you're going to open that with Inseric or your in-lab software, if you're going to send that to your preferred lab. And you can also delegate anything to any of your staff. So you can actually put in their notes to follow up on treatments, and that is saved in the treatment planning. So now you have a record of communication, and you can delegate tasks within the treatment within DS Core, and you can continually add files to that treatment. So you can upload more files into that treatment as you receive them. So it's really easy to manage in one space without having to go back and forth between multiple software systems. So when you're managing your orders, you can send all of your orders and add all of your case files to your patient medias in just a few clicks. So you can integrate chat back to your lab. So ordering from your lab, you can fill out your lab prescription. You'll see here we're choosing milling, or you can choose the material as well as the shade that you would like. And then being able to have integrated chat, now you can talk specifically on these cases and get updates on these cases directly live within DS Core. So gone are the days of spending time on the phone, having to, go through text message, where's a case, or take a picture of a case, what is going on with this, or can you provide me an update with that? Free up your time. And being able to free up your time, you can have everything dedicated to DS Core to where you have all of your chat, and it's a history of the chat that's all on that case. So you know exactly the communication that's going back and forth on every single one of your lab orders. So you can chat directly with your lab technicians. The lab technicians can chat directly with you, and all of that communication is tied historically to those treatments in those cases for your lab orders. And on the lab side, labs are also using DS Core. So labs have multiple softwares that they're bringing scans into. So Connect Case Center Inbox went away, which was replaced with DS Core. They're in 3Shape dental system. They also have analog impressions that they're still receiving, and you might be using analog impressions as well for some cases. So they're able to do, they're receiving texts and chats, and they're on the phone. They're using things like WeTransfers and instant messengers and that sort of thing. But now they're connected as well. So labs are connected through DS Core, which gives them the flexibility to communicate easily with their clinicians on all cases, and not just on prime scan cases, but all cases, because DS Core is an open platform system. So with analog impressions, so you're receiving are your various IO scanners, and then I'll get to the analog impressions and what they can do with those. So now, because it's an STL or a PLY file, they can simply just drop in. You can drop in STLs, PLYs directly into DS Core, send the lab order over, and you get the same benefits of being able to communicate with the lab on those cases. So you have effective communication all the way through on your lab orders. And then what about if you have an analog case? So if you have an analog impression that you're going to be sending into the lab will be able to convert that to digital, and they're going to be able to digitize that analog case, which is going to give you a digital record of it. And what they will do is they will share that back to you, the clinician. So now you have a digital impression based off of that analog impression for your records. And you can talk specifically around what is happening on that impression. Maybe the impression isn't good around the margin. Now you can actually see exactly what the lab sees in real time, and you can chat about the case real time within DS Core. So if you're new to getting into digital technology and don't have a scanner yet, this is a great way to start dabbling in digital technology by having the lab share those analog impressions with you at DS Core. Or if you're a hybrid and you're doing some cases digital, some cases analog, this is a great way to start shifting those cases to digital and have them archived within DS Core within your patient treatment folders as well. So let's talk about the compliant sharing of data and working in labs. I work in a lot of labs, across the nation, visiting them and speaking with them. So which one of these is compliantly sharing of data? Because we see them all around and sharing patient information, sharing photos of cases, whether it's text, WeTransfer, there's chats, there's thumb drives flying around, and none of them are. So we need to make sure that we are HIPAA compliant in the sharing of data. And DS Core is designed with data protection and compliance. So it's a reliable architecture. It has all the encryption that's up to date, up to industry standards. It is powered by Google, so we rely on Google for that. So there's operation centers across the US that's monitored 24/7. So that way, and it's constantly updated. So the data is always protected and stored accordingly in cloud centers that maintain that compliance as well. So Google Cloud helps us maintain that cutting edge infrastructure and capabilities. So you no longer have to worry, is your data safe or your patient's data safe? DS Core is 100% HIPAA compliant, and all the communication that happens through DS Core is 100% HIPAA compliant. So very important for both the lab and the clinician and the patient. So let's jump into PrimeScan specifically on the digital workflows. So PrimeScan is able to do crown and bridge, clear aligners, sleep appliances, digital dentures or dentureless workflows, digital all-on-X we're able to do as well as implantology. And one of the reasons why the Prime Scan is so accurate and can do so many different workflows is because of the data that it is able to get. So 1.5 million data points. It also has a very large field of view. So it's able to stitch together large fields of view with that many data points, which makes it extremely accurate. So that's why when labs are receiving scans with PrimeScan specifically, it's over a 99% lab acceptance rate with PrimeScan scans. So let's talk a little bit about the best practices with Prime scans and what you can be doing to get better outcomes. So with Prime Scan, you want to make sure that you're focusing on long continuous sweeps. So you can start rather slow, and then you're going to adjust to an optimal speed. So as you get more comfortable scanning with Prime Scan, you're going to find that the rhythm or how fast you scan will speed up. But you want to make sure that you have a tempo. It's almost like a tempo when you're scanning with Prime Scan, and a fast, smooth tempo will lead to really quick scanning. You want to keep any scanned tongue or cheeks to a minimum, so really focus on the tooth structures, and the soft tissue around the gingiva. And if you see any artifacts that are attached to a tooth structure, you can scan over that tooth structure from a different angle. So try to keep the soft tissue out of the way, like a cheek or tongue. And with Prime Scan, because of the software and the algorithms built into it, if you see something funky happening on a tooth, you can just rescan right over it. So you don't need to stop the scan, and you don't need to, cut anything out. Just scan right over it. Now, if you're getting something where the stitching of the arches aren't coming together correctly, and you just can't get it to recognize something, that's okay. You can just you can just stop it, and then restart the scan, and it will reset itself. So you can just stop that scan. I'm just going to reset it, and it'll go and be able to start right again. So it's real easy. There's no additional really buttons you need to hit, or stopping and deleting. So you just got to stop it and restart it. And if you're moving from posterior to anterior, you want to keep the window of the scanner pointed towards the back of the mouth. So that's the easiest way to capture the most data with Prime Scan, because it has such a depth of view. It has a 20 millimeter depth of view. You can really angle the scanner and still capture the anatomy that's required. And then with PrimeScan, you have the audio changes. So you can turn the audio on, turn it off, but there's a couple of different audio settings to know but when you're scanning correctly or incorrect scanning. It'll give you an audible tone that changes that it's not scanning the way that it should be, or it's not recognizing the anatomy or the tooth that it should be. So this is the recommended scan path for quadrant and jaw scans. So we have 3 steps. So we're going to scan lingually, then we're going to scan occlusal, and then buccal. So it's 3 steps, and you'll see there on the occlusal scan that it's going to be straight on. And then you want to have a 60-degree angle would be ideal to capture as much of the anatomy or tooth structure at once. And that will stitch together. And you can see in the little image down there on the left that you don't have to be on the tooth structure. It does have a 20 millimeter scan depth, so you can give yourself a little bit of space and it will still be able to accurately capture all the anatomy that's required. And overlap is crucial. So that's going to really help with the stitching. So you can use different scan procedures for scanning a full jaw. Now, the ones that I showed you are the most efficient, and those are the ones that are going to be the fastest scanning. But there is no typically set scan procedure. So you can start pretty much anywhere within the mouth as long as you have the overlapping so that the prime scan knows where to stitch together the anatomy. And that way you will get that accuracy that you need to. So if you're brand new to Prime Scan, I recommend following this scan strategy. If you're a tenured user, as you know, you know how to use and what technique works for you for the best outcomes or for the fastest outcomes. For implant restorations, so a couple of things to note on implant restorations is you want to remove any of the healing abutments before you take your initial scan. So, and you have to be quick. So you kind of have to be like, okay, we're going to remove the healing abutment. We want to make sure that the tissue isn't collapsing. So that's the first scan we're going to do is remove that healing abutment, scan the soft tissue or the sulcus, and then we'll be able to finish the rest of the jaw. So you want to make sure we get that accurately. So you want to make sure that you take that scan before the scan body is placed. So that scan body scan on an implant scan, that's the last one that we want to do. So we're going to do the scan body scan last. We're going to do the gingiva scan immediately as soon as we remove the healing abutment. So I am going to do a live demonstration of what this looks like within DS Core. So we're going to do 3 different scan strategies. So we're going to do crown, and I'm going to show you exactly how that works all the way through ordering through the lab, and then also show a bridge case, and we'll do an implant case. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing right now, and then Alyssa, do we have any
No
thing?
questions that have come in as of
Okay.
yet.
All right.
I don't know, Karen or Yolanda, if there's anything you wanted to add just with your experience with DS Core or Prime Scan.
So DS Core on the lab end, it's very good because it's very organized. So I deal with a lot of big full arch cases, and for everything to be in one area, CT scan, patient photos, iOS scans, and be able to communicate that way, everyone's on the same page. I know a lot of times text messages, I have photos coming in, and almost every time I miss a photo that needs to be sent. So this is awesome for those cases because everything's right there and we can all go back in and look and be on the same page. So this is a great platform, guys.
I agree with Karen there because, you want to stay HIPAA compliant. That's very, very important. And for everything to be there at your fingertips, and not missing any information so that, we can process your cases rather quickly. Um, I highly recommend this for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, sometimes when photos are lost or something is texted but it isn't sent, immediately, that can delay things, we all know how important turnaround time is, and that's certainly something we strive to, do our best at as well as a lab. So it's nice. I think I can see this definitely as a platform being able to streamline the communication process and,
Yeah, absolutely. And
minimize
then
turnaround time.
you'll get less calls from the lab too saying you need X, Y, and Z and then then doctors say you already have it. And then it's like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this kind of gets rid of that, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and stay off screen right now as I go through this demo. So I'm going to go ahead and start. So this is the dashboard for DS Core. So what the first thing that we would do, and this is where everything changes with PrimeScan, is in the past PrimeScan, everything started within the Cerex software or within the Connect software. Now everything starts within DS Core. So this is where you're going to be adding your patients. So your patients would be added here. So this is where you can add them. You would add them directly with their, name, their birth date, and then their card ID or patient ID would be what's in the practice management software. And then you can assign their clinician to them. So if there's multiple clinicians, you can choose which assigned dentist that they would like. So I already have a patient added in here. So I added one. So we'll go to treatments. So say we have a patient here. So we can go ahead and we can just start a new treatment. And I'll search for my patient. So my patient is Lexier. And you'll see Lexier is right there. And I'm going to go ahead and start with a crown case. And it'll be a crown on number 9. So it's really easy to choose directly off of the screen, very intuitive. So crown on number 9, and then I will create my treatment. And this is where I can add any notes that I would like to. I can also, if I need to add notes, I can do that. And then also this is where you're going to start your scanners. And this is really what changed. So now I'm going to start my prime scan directly from DS Core. So I click Start DI Scan, and I'll choose my scanner. And because I chose a crown on number 9 and I already have it assigned to a patient, this really speeds up my time with PrimeScan specifically. So it'll open up the Connect software, and you'll see once it opens up here on the connector that it is going to automatically push all of the data that's required into the Connect software. So I no longer have to sit in front of my scanner and enter all of this data. So I'll open up my Connect software. And you'll see right there at the very top left-hand side, there's the patient name already there. And then with the patient's birth date, they were born just earlier this month, it looks like. And then also it already puts the scan catalogs required. So it tells you exactly what scan catalogs are required. So everything is being pushed down into the Connect software and Cerex software now. And what this does is this allows you could preload all of your treatments for a day to where you don't have to sit there and do this in front of a patient, in front of a prime scan before you start scanning and really make it more efficient. So I'm going to go ahead and scan my upper jaw. And I'll follow the scan protocols.
Where's the music, Kent?
I scan so much I had to turn it off because it gets a little too much sometimes.
You
So
gonna
I
start
really,
singing for us?
yeah, it's not singing for it. Yeah. So you have to really make sure that you get the contact points. So you'll see there, I have the margin, I have the contact points on both sides on number 9. And then I'll do the lower jaw. Make sure we get all the occlusal surface for our contacts. There we go. And then we'll get the buccal bite. So the buccal bite with prime scan, as soon as you get a check mark, that means that you have the bite registered. The software will snap the impressions together. Now, if you want to scan the entire arch all the way around, you can. It doesn't hurt anything, but you don't necessarily have to. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and click the little arrow that I'm done, and it's going to create the model. And this is the other thing that's changed from the legacy way that prime scan worked is the model is being created and you will have a record saved on the hardware itself. So the model there is storage on prime scan. This is the prime scan AC. So this one that has storage on it. You'll have the data stored on the hardware here. But as soon as it's done creating this model, you'll see a little window that pops up, and the little window is going to be exporting this case directly into DS Core. And what's great about this is because this model is being created here on the prime scan, we're done with the prime scan at this point because the model is being uploaded to DS Core. So this really frees up your scanner to move on. So I'm done scanning that patient. I can wipe it down, clean it, disinfect it with cavi wipes, and then it's ready to go to the next patient. So no more fighting over the prime scan because you have to enter a case or submit a case or adjust a model on the prime scan. All of that's being done on DS Core now. So we'll give it just a second here to be brought up. And you'll see there's a little window that it is exporting all the data up to DS Core. So you'll see that there is still the model on the prime scan. But keep in mind, the model has been uploaded to DS Core, is being uploaded to DS Core right now. So that means if I adjust anything on this model, so if I go in and I set the model access or adjust the model access in any way, I need to manually add that up into DS Core. So if I adjust anything on here again, or I need to go up here to the top left-hand side, and I would need to manually upload it if I adjust anything in the model phase. So everything looks pretty good here. So I'm not worried about anything there. So we're no longer drawing margins on Prime Scan. All of that is done in DS Core now. So again, freeing up your scanner, making you more efficient. You've used the scanner. Now you can go through and mark margins whenever you have free moment to do so, because all the data is going to be in DS Core. So it's uploading the scan. I'll go to DS Core, and you'll see that the uploading has started. So it will go ahead and it will upload. Because we did a crown, there is CEREC design or send to the lab built into DS Core for our CEREC users, but we're going to be using sending to a lab. So I'm going to close the AI workflow there. And now you will see this is the model, just like you've been known to use on, and this is all within DS Core. So this is all within DS Core now. So I can turn off my treatment lower. I can zoom in on my margin. I can look at my contact points as I need to. Everything on DS Core. So if I want to change to grayscale, I can turn it to grayscale automatically very easily as well. So a little bit easier to mark the margins sometimes in grayscale. I know labs love that. And then also on the left-hand side here, you'll see there's a little margin thing. So I have not verified the margin. So if I click on the little looks like it's a pencil, but it kind of looks like a microphone to me. You can look and you can adjust the margin as needed. So you can adjust the margin. If you want to AI the margin, there's a little magic wand button to do AI margin marking, and then you can confirm it. So once it's confirmed, you're good to go. and say, oh wait, maybe I didn't confirm it. See how the little yellow thing went away. But if I want to change it, so say I'll change it just real quick, and I'll make it a little off. I'll show you how this works real time in a lab. All right, so say the margin's off like that, and I confirm it. And I'll show you how we can use this real time in a lab. And then from here, I'm ready to order. So I just click my order button, and this is done whenever you want to because it's in the cloud. You could batch all of your lab orders at one time if you wanted to in the middle of the day or whenever you have a free time, you can do it. So we'll use, so there it is right there. We already have the procedure type, everything ready to go. We'll choose how we want our materials made out of. So we'll do a zirconia, that's fine. Please put the shade. I know labs love that. And then if you'd like advanced options, you can add things like your radial spacer, occlusal spacer, proximal contacts, occlusal contacts. You can add those into the prescription as well. And then you can click continue. This is that QR code that I spoke about earlier where you can take a picture. Maybe it's a custom color match. You're going to take a photo of the patient. You can quickly take a picture or take a scan of that QR code. It'll open up the DS Core homepage, put in your username and password, take a picture, and it'll automatically attach a picture to this case directly into DS Core without saving it to your profile. And then if you're going to add anything additional, you can do that here. So as you can see, it's an open platform. So if there's additional files you're going to upload here, you can do that. And if there's any comments you want to attach to it, you can do that as well. Like, hey, rush case. And continue. So I'll put it in the demo lab and then we can do a rush case. So we'll do a rush case for maybe Tuesday. How about that? And then you can also choose a delivery time if there's a set delivery time. And place your order. So now this is tied directly to this patient. And then there's your messages right there to the lab. So the thing that the lab can do is the lab can now gets it real time. So I'll open up the case real time in my lab account real quick. And say if the lab has an issue with the margin, come on. You can go directly back into the file itself. Say, hey, the lab says, you know what, the margin isn't right on this case. You can open up the file directly and you can readjust the margin without having to do another scan. And you can do this at any point. So you don't have to go track down your prime scan. You can do it directly within DS Core. So there's the restoration. There's the rush case. There's the file. And you can adjust this model at any time and the lab will see it immediately. So there's no more rescanning needed. You can adjust the model here and it's automatically adjusted for the lab on the lab side. So maybe it's the model axis you're going to change, you can do that. Or if you're going to adjust the model anyway, it's seen real time by the lab. All right. So let's go to doing a bridge scan real quick. So doing a bridge scan, same thing, we can create a treatment. We'll do a restoration and we'll do a bridge and we're gonna do a bridge on number 3, 4, and 5. So I'll do a bridge and then just do 3, 4, and 5. And then on number 4, or sorry, bridge 3, create the bridge. bridge. Cancel that. Bridge. 3. And then we'll create the bridge. And once I've created the bridge, now I can just add a Pontic. So I'll add the Pontic on number 4, create the treatment, and then same thing, just start the DI scan directly from DS Core. So really easy to do bridge workflow. It'll pull up the same exact, the bridge workflow is exactly the same as the crown workflow. So nothing changes on the scan strategy. So instead of doing the live demo on that one, I will do the demo on the implant one because the implant one has some unique ones there. So I'll go to treatments. We'll skip ahead to the implant workflow. The implant's going to be done on number 30. And we'll do an abutment and a crown on number 30. Oh, we're going to add Lexir. So we'll add Lexir. So there's my abutment and crown on number 30, my implant case. And I'm going to create my treatment and start my scan. So there's my old crown scan. I can exit out of that one. Save it's fine. And then you'll see this is the scan for the implant. You'll notice we have our lower jaw scan, our upper jaw scan, our buccal scan, and then it has added the scan body scan automatically since we told it was going to be an implant case. So everything is pushed down now into prime scan. So we'll do the lower jaw. I'll get my contacts really good. We can do our upper jaw. Do our buccal bite real quick without a scan body. So your buccal bite without the scan body. And then I will place the scan body into the Typanaut, and we'll do a scan body scan. Go. And then same thing, we'll just click the next button, and that will create our model, which is going to include that scan body. So once it creates the model, it will be automatically uploaded into DS Core. And we have some unique features built into DS Core, which I'll pull up and show you. So I did a case yesterday for this patient. So I'll just skip to it for the sake of time. So this is the case that we did yesterday, same Typanaut. So this is the implant case. So within DS Core, when the file is uploaded into DS Core, we have automatic scan body detection now. So scan body detection will be on Atlantis IO Flow, the Seric scan posts, TiBase SNL, as well as 3Shape CMT has auto detection. So you can see that little blue scan body there in the lower. We'll get rid of that one. So that means the scan body has been detected. So if we were to turn on the scan, the actual scan of the scan body, you'll see it overlays directly over that scan body. And that's important because this is exactly what your labs are looking for, knowing the correct orientation of the implant. So that one is automatic, and you'll see there if we click on it, you'll see automatically that it detected the Atlantis IO flow for the tooth. It uses the European system in our demo software. But that is, and same thing, you can adjust the model if you need to. If you want to adjust the axis of the model, you can do that. If you want to cut any portions of the model out, you can do that as well. So completely up to you. So if I want to cut out that little part up there, you can do that, and do the cutout on that one as well and apply the cut. And then what I'll do is from here, we can go directly into this implant one. So say, for example, you already have a scan ready to go. So I can just click on that little check mark and I can go directly to creating an order with the lab itself. And we can send it directly to our preferred lab. So we can do our custom abutment. Continue. Select number 30. And then we can fill out all of the information as required to complete the full case. So we can choose our implant manufacturer. So we do. Oh, it uploaded my scan. So we can do our implant manufacturer and our orders right here. Implant manufacturer, implant line, EV, do blue, yellow, IO flow. Then same thing, we do screw retained, straight, titanium. Then we can add a crown. We'll do our zirconia, add a bleached, and then we can choose our shade and continue. And this is where if you wanted to share a CBCT, you could do that as well. So you could share CBCT files as well with your cases. So if I wanted to continue, send it to your preferred lab and ready to go.
I'm just gonna pop in here on the lab side with these scan bodies. Just like when you're doing like an impression post, we always like to have an x-ray to make sure it is seated properly. So the same thing goes with this, and you can upload that x-ray right into this as well.
Yep, good call out. So I'll go to one of my demo patients here to show you, where is it at? So I have an implant patient in here that has all of the CBCTs on it. There it is. And this shows you how you can do, there's like, for example, you can sort all the files by file type. So here's the CBCTs in the series for this patient from initial visit all the way through implant placed. And then there's your implant placement with your intraoral x-ray there. So you can attach these files directly to. This is also where you would share. So if I wanted to share, for example, this CBCT with a specialist, you can just click on the image there, click share, and easily share that directly with your specialist just through their email address. And that way they have full access to it. There's no cost for them to view the files whatsoever, and they can help plan your cases accordingly. You can also pre-share all of these cases with your lab technicians before you submit a case as well. And then, so if you want it, I'll show you real quick the viewer. So you do have the ability to have CBCTs built in, so it'll load the 3D CBCT in here. And then you can also go through the different slices as needed on the CBCT. So it'll load up here. And there you go. So there's your CBCT viewer. So you can go through your different slices as you need to if you would like to. And then if you wanted to look at the canvas, I'll show you the patient canvas real quick for a Danielle implant. So the canvas is one that I built that already has CBCT. It has the pano. It also has the IO scans on it. And this is where you can do the annotations. You can do the annotations as you can see here on the screen. And then we also have some new things coming that are coming out here next month on our platform to where you have AI diagnosis as well. So here's some patient education. So you can have some patient education that you can share with the patient. You can share directly with the patient this way. If I wanted to click on the CBCT sometimes struggles, so I have so much stuff on my house. But you can actually, this is where you can click on each one and you can do the annotations. You can change the contrast, the brightness. You can adjust them however you would like. And we'll see if the CBCT will load since I have multiple open. All right. So there you go. So this is the CBCT view here. So this is where you can go in and you can do your different adjustments. So say you wanted to look at changing that one. So say you want to change AI. You can do adjustments all the way through. So you can adjust as you need to. So with that, I know we're getting short on time, but I want to show you the canvas as well and how you can share that with patients and organize everything and have everything in one space. So that way you can efficiently communicate through your lab orders, through your specialists, with your patients to make it more efficient as well as a more connected experience within your practice to have everything in one spot in order to make you more efficient. So what I'll do is I will stop sharing my screen here and then we can open it up for questions.
Thanks, Kent. I definitely see the, advantages for, from us as a lab side and having things centralized and streamlined ways to communicate as well. And I know that you had mentioned earlier, I think you mentioned this, but it is an open system, so this is not
Yep.
just Dentsply specific. So
Yeah, we recognize that, there's plenty of offices out there that have both PrimeScan and iTero, for example, if they're doing like Invisalign cases and they have two different platforms for scanning. Yes, you can absolutely upload STLs directly into DS Core. It's not a seamless upload like it would be on PrimeScan, but you just click on the patient and just add media file and just add the STL directly to that patient. So if they might have maybe an iTero scan or competitive scanner scan and a prime scan, you can still have it all linked under one patient in one spot.
excellent. I don't see any questions that have come in. We are recording this. I did see some people came in a little bit on the later side, so I will be sharing the full recording with everyone that's attended. Kent, if you can just bring up that last slide with my QR, I'm just going to ask for feedback. And then Karen, Yolanda, if you guys have anything to add.
Ken, let me ask you, how have you heard feedback on how quickly it's taking offices to upload the CBCT to the DS core?
Um, I don't have a specific answer on that one because it's going to be specific down to your things like internet speeds and things like that. Because as we know, CBCTs are large files. If you're using the Sedexis, if you're a Sedexis user with our CBCT brand or with our Orthos brand, then yes, it's going to be somewhat connected a little bit faster because the software is already connected directly to DS Core. But I don't, the upload of file speed is going to be pretty much determined based on your internet.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But once it's on the cloud, it's on the cloud.
Yeah, because when you pulled it up on your end, it came up pretty quick. I was actually impressed.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, once it's on the cloud, it's on the cloud in the storage. And that's the other thing is that's the benefit of being able to share those with your specialist or with your lab is because it's already on the cloud. What you're doing is you send them a link. The link is gonna be a link within DS Core. They create their own username and password to stay compliant, and then they're viewing that image directly on your cloud. So they're not downloading or not uploading any images. So it's really instantaneous for them to look at it really quickly without having to mess with uploading into softwares or making sure they're on the right versions or specific readers anymore. It's all directly within DS Core.
Do they have access to be able to circle something? Do they have that access or
They
no?
don't right now. So
Okay.
that's one where they can look at it and they can do their planning on it. And then they can share that information back with the patient or with the clinician. Yeah.
Great.
But there's plenty with it being cloud-based, which is great, is there is no more I have to download the latest version. It automatically just gets pushed out. So we're doing constant updates on our DS Core platform to where we have large quarterly updates, but we also do them on the weekends and late nights and things like that to make sure that we're adding features and making it more intuitive day after day after day. So there's really some really neat things coming later this year as we start to scale into more implant dentistry for sure.
You guys are like the iPhone.
Yeah, yeah. So it just automatically gets pushed out. So no more having to download versions or make sure licenses are updated. So those days are gone now.
Great.
Right. Well, if everyone could just take a quick moment and just pull out your iPhone, speaking of, or whatever phone you're using, and just scan this QR. That's to provide feedback on the program today and give us suggestions for future content of what you might like to see for education. We're always looking to make sure that we're bringing content that's relevant to what our clinicians need. So if you could just do me a quick favor and scan that. And just a reminder, your CE certificates will take up to 2 weeks to be sent out, and they'll be coming from education@lexier.com. And then if you want to just hop on our website, we have all of our future programs listed there on lexier.com/clinical education. So appreciate you, Kent and Karen and Yolanda, for chiming in and spending an hour with us this afternoon, and hope to see everyone at a future course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.